Hello, my name is Cohen Braithwaite-Kilcoyne. I'm an Anglo concertina player. I've been playing the Anglo since I was about 12, and for the past 6 years I've been playing it professionally, making my living as a performer, mostly on the English folk scene, and also as a teacher, teaching things related to squeeze box playing and folk music in one-on-one settings and in workshops and also in schools. And when I started doing school music teaching work about 2 or 3 years ago, I was pretty much immediately met in almost all of my sessions with young people coming up to me and saying, "Oh, sir, what's that fascinating instrument you're playing? Can I have a closer look at it? Can I have a go on it?" And this is my main concertina. It's a 1925 Jeffries Anglo. And as I'm sure you can imagine, I was hesitant to let inexperienced young people loose on a 100-year-old antique. And so I decided about 2 years ago now to invest in an instrument that would serve that purpose, that could be an instrument that I could take along to schools, that I could let the young people loose on. And so I bought this concertina here. Now this is a flying duck concertina. And so for about a year or so, I was taking this concertina along to a lot of my schoolwork and seeing young people really enjoying having a little go in a fairly unpressured way. And that got me thinking a little bit about how I could progress this idea further. Last year, I managed to secure a grant from the ICA to support the development of this project. And using that grant, I've bought a handful of additional instruments to largely serve the same purpose as this flying duck concertina here, to be instruments that young people can have a little tinker around on in a fairly unpressured way, and to hopefully get them excited about concertina playing. And I've got some of the instruments behind me. I'll give you a closer look at them now. So the instruments that I purchased using this grant are all second-hand 20-key, mid-20th century German-made concertinas. Most of these have come off eBay. The two on the end give you a fairly typical look at the sort of state that they often arrive in. This red one you can see here has a missing button, and although if I play it, it sounds largely in tune with itself, it's actually tuned a little bit sharp of concert pitch, so if I were to play this with any other musician it would sound absolutely horrific. Likewise, this instrument you can see is fairly rough and ready. It looks a bit like it's been hit by a tractor. The previous owner, I think, had stuck some stickers on it to remember where the notes are. It's also pretty ropey in its tuning. I've been gradually working through those instruments as they arrive, giving them a bit of a polish and a tune-up. Here's one that I've recently finished working on. You can see it's a little bit tidier than the two I've shown you. It's got all the buttons on both sides, and it's largely in tune with itself and in tune with the rest of the world. I've taken a good number of the instruments that you've seen behind me to some of my more recent school teaching days, and they've gone down very well. A lot of the young people have really enjoyed playing around with those concertinas. The plan going forwards is to continue adding to the collection until I'm at a point where I've got a reasonable collection that I can start offering absolute beginner group concertina workshops to schools and other musical organisations and events. These concertinas have also been valuable as instruments that I've been able to offer out on longer term loans. I'm sure many of you will know that concertinas are not cheap instruments, and often the cheap concertinas are exceedingly frustrating to play, and if you buy a cheap concertina it will just plummet in value. So that's a very tricky situation for particularly young beginners. And I've been offering these concertinas behind me as instruments on short-term loans. I've got a few of them out at the moment on loan with some concertina players, both young and older. So they're serving really a dual purpose there as instruments for short-term trials in schools, as well as for longer-term trials with prospective future concertina players, just to try the instrument out before they take their first plunge into buying their first serious instrument. I would like to thank the ICA very much for their support in this project, and I would like to add that if anyone would like a concertina on loan, or knows anyone that might want a concertina on loan, or is interested in hearing a little bit more about these absolute beginner concertina workshops that I'm hoping to offer once I've built up the collection, then please get in touch with me. My email is cohen@cohenbk.com. Thank you very much.